Hi, everyone, and welcome to another walkthrough of a journal by We're Just Two Sisters. I'm Claudia, and I'm going to take you through this really lovely journal that I just completed that's called Poems and Posies. This is a large journal in terms of size. It measures about 5.5 inches wide by almost 9 inches in length. And it has a relatively large spine. It's about 1.5 inches, as you can see. And this journal is just so well constructed and it's so beautiful. It has a book cover, a hard book cover, which I've covered with this beautiful fabric. It's green and gold, as you can see, and it's just so pretty. And I've covered the entire cover first with this lovely fabric, and it just made it soft and feminine. I would say it's Victorian kind of in theme. And it has this beautiful illustration on the front. Posies and Poems is what it's called. So let's take a look inside. This has a really cool ribbon with writing on it that I've coffee dyed, but not too dark. I wanted it to still be bright and airy and feminine. And it is removable, so you can choose to use that ribbon, or you can get a ribbon of your own that you like better. So the cover of this one is very unique. It has the sewn on illustration. It has a side pocket that has the stitching all the way around, and it has writing. I have attached this little paper heart to the front here. And in the pocket, there are a couple of little pieces of ephemera that I've altered. This one is an old letter, and there's writing on the back, writing space on the back, as you can see. And what I've added here is this little poem called Wings. Let us be like a bird for a moment perched on a frail branch while he sings. Though he feels it bend, yet he sings his song, knowing that he has wings. Victor Hugo. And I've added a lot of poems to this book that came out of a very old little favorite poems from the turn of the century. So you'll see a lot of those poems in this book. I've added a couple of really cool embellishments here on each side, on each corner. This is a combination of pearls, lace, and a little cloth flower. And here I've made just a flower out of the lace, similar to here, where I just cut it out and used the design. It has a vintage doily that is wrapped all the way around, as you can see. And on the back, it has a very similar look and feel. There is a corner pocket. There are several little things in the pocket. A cool illustration that's sewn around the edge. Here's the other side of the doily. In the pocket, there's this beautiful card. Who is queen of babyland, mother kind and sweet, and her love, born above, guides the little feet. Posies and Poems. And another letter. This one has a cool little clasp on the top. But let's walk through it here. Again, I've added this little paper flower to the front, or a paper heart, and it can flatten out as so. On the inside cover of this, I've included a book plate. This book plate says this book belongs to. It's mounted on a piece of paper that has writing on it. It has this pretty applique here on the side with the posies. In the top pocket of this, there's a couple of little things. There's this cool vintage piece of ledger paper that I've added some stamping to and distressed. And also there is this little poetry card, Time to Rise. This book has lots of lace. It has art paper, craft paper, some coffee dyed paper, and a lot of writing space. But as you can see, there's also quite a bit of lace that makes it really pretty and frilly on the side. The lace is sewn on. I've done a little bit of stenciling, not a lot, but a little bit of stenciling with just some little designs and some butterflies. Again, lots of journaling space, lots of different sizes of paper. So here's a music sheet that's embellished with some irises, a piece of page from a book that is a copyright or type style book. Some really pretty lace that's sewn onto a receipt. On the other side of that is this really beautiful pocket. Again, you'll see this same design that I put on the front. Here's a tiny little book. The pocket holds a letter as well as another piece of that distressed ledger paper. And those just have such a great vintage feel to them. More of the really nice writing paper. You can use this to write on, or you can embellish it, decorate it any way you like. Pretty piece of stationery. Here's a cool page. So this is a pocket, as you can see here, has December on it. Here's a pocket here with the flowers. A little poem, Happy Thought, the world is so full of a number of things. I'm sure we should all be as happy as kings. Robert Louis Stevenson. I've added this pretty poem card into the pocket, and on this pocket here, I've added this little tablet. Has writing space and a pocket at the top. And here is just a little stapled tablet. Goes right into that pocket, closes like so. And what I like to do is put the whole tablet down into the pocket, and that way it can hang over the top as so. Makes it kind of cool to hang over the top. And then the roses kind of complement the flowers down below. Another side pocket using flowers with a little folio, House and Home. A house is built of logs and stone, of tiles and posts and piers. A home is built of loving deeds that stand 1,000 years. Victor Hugo. And this one has a tablet and another little poem by Robert Burns called A Red, Red Rose. Has some nice embellishments on it with the little flowers there. Another piece of really cool stationery for the first of 2 signatures. The center of the first signature, Vanished by Emily Dickinson, on this really cool vintage old postcard paper. 1948. Little corner pocket there with the lace. This lace is really pretty, just kind of barely hangs over the edge there. And as you can see, this journal has, hopefully you can see that, 2 signatures, 1 signature here and 1 signature here. And they are sewn into the book. The other side of that neat pocket, this one has a couple of tags in it. May he who watches over all and hears our every prayer grant you the blessing of good health and keep you in his care. This has some pretty whimsical yarn at the top that hangs over, and a happy birthday poem. And in this little round side pocket here, I've added this little folio that I've stamped there on the edge. And then this is kind of interesting. It has a pocket with some poetry books on this side and a pocket that goes up and down with a couple of poems there. And that just slides into this little circular pocket. More writing space. Crossing the Bar from Alfred Tennyson. Has a really cool, one of my homemade buttons on a piece of vintage fabric. Here is a side pocket. The side pocket has a birthday poem in with a little tag that slips in there. And this has two pockets. Has a pocket here with the roses and a pocket here with, looks like lilies, calla lilies maybe. And this has a couple things. It has this beautiful little folio with a tiny little tablet and a corner pocket. And you can put virtually anything into that little corner pocket. We'll keep that guy out so he can, or in, so he can fill that little spot. But you can put anything you'd like in there. I've purposely made this journal with fewer embellishments so that you can put your own things into the pockets and use up all of the space to create your own masterpiece. Here's kind of an example of a little bit of stenciling. Not a lot, just a little to give it a little more texture. Here's a corner pocket that's covered with cloth and also stamping of a postcard with this beautiful embossed flower that sits on top of that craft paper with the receipt. The other side of that piece of paper or book page from the typeset book with a poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson, another poem by John Greenleaf Whittier. More great writing space, pages to decorate. Here's the back of the very first signature. I loved this page. It has a kind of a double little pocket there. Has some beautiful appliques. It has a tag in the pocket, and it says it's ode by Arthur William O'Shaughnessy. And on this side it has a pocket. In that pocket is a little folio, which also has a little side pocket here. And this folio actually has several little poems in it. They're attached to cardstock. This paper is so old that it's a little bit fragile. I made a little tear there, but I will fix that so that you won't be able to notice it. And this goes down into this pocket. And on this side, there's a fun little pocket here with the letter V on the map. And in here are several poems by Percy Shelley, a poem, another by Robert Louis Stevenson, and then this tiny little price tag. More writing space. There's a page that has another one of the little paper hearts that I like to make. And as you can see, these kind of pop up, so they have lots of pages to them. I like making those. This one has a poem called To My Wife, again, Robert Louis Stevenson. There's a little drink to her. And if this goes down into that pocket, it can definitely hold the heart open. There's a very pretty flocked piece of paper with a Sears and Roebuck sarsaparilla advertisement. And this really pretty flower here and a flower here. And of course, the famous Elizabeth Barrett Browning poem, How Do I Love Thee, Let Me Count the Ways. Here we have Annie Laurie by William Douglas, and this really cool little poem of summer with the sunflower. Again, a little bit of stenciling just to kind of balance the page. Tucked in quite a few little smaller pieces of paper. There's some decorative initials from that typeset book. Here is a really cool piece that has quite a few things going on. some old stationery that's embossed. This page has a Alfred Tennyson poem called Flower in the Crannied Wall. In the corner pocket up here, I've added this little tablet folio and also this butterfly that's on top of the ledger paper. The center of the second signature, I've added this little clip on here. This can be placed wherever you would like it. This is not attached. It's a really cool card that you can open up and use for writing space. And it can just be clipped onto your journal in any page that you would like to, or you can use the clip for another purpose. I like these clips because they hold something in, they create a bookmark, or they create a tassel that hangs over the edge that makes a pretty texture. This is a side pocket that holds this really pretty writing here. Journaling space on the back. And again, it's, I would say, moderately embellished so that you can put a lot of things of your own. And it has no photographs. So there, other than the lady on the very front, there are really no people in this journal. This is a belly band. It's kind of zigzagged here. In it is a folio, a yellow pansy poem. Inside is a pocket with another poem and a tablet. And it goes in just a bit on a slant, like so. And on this little piece here, there's a pocket. This pocket has just a couple of little things, a little tag with a pocket on the back. As you can see here, this can go down into that pocket if you would like it to. This is a little coupon for U.S. School of Music. The other side of that cool piece of art paper. Here's another of the little floral pockets that's attached to that small piece of paper. There's a couple of pieces of ephemera, postcard, a receipt from 1878. I get asked a lot, where do you find all this cool ephemera? Well, I am constantly searching both on eBay and at garage sales and thrift stores for old books. And oftentimes I find old books that have letters, like this old book was a poetry book. I've just recently purchased a book that's all vintage toys. And sometimes I make photocopies of the things that are in the book. Other times I just cut the books up and use them as is. A lot of times with things like letters and so forth, there's writing on the other side, so I prefer to make a photocopy of it and then just kind of put it in the journal and save the original. So that's where a lot of my ephemera comes from. It's kind of an unusual little tablet with 3 different sizes of paper. Again, a little pocket. Not everything in this journal has something in the pocket. So that way you can add your own things and, you know, create something that's really just all about you. They could be photographs, they could be ticket stubs, they could be just memorabilia of any kind. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. I really love that poem. And here is a very authentic vintage postcard, To Scatter Joy by Emerson. Turn that over, and this is not a copy. This is an original, very old, 1921, from Detroit, Michigan, to Miss Elizabeth Roberts in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Actually bought an entire box of these vintage postcards, all addressed to the same lady. It's really fun to read, the prose that was written. People were elegant in their writing and in their speech. Now we just text. And on the back cover of this, as one of my favorite pages actually, I made this little pocket and then I attached cloth swatches that I thought were just so complementary to the colors in this journal. There's a butterfly here. It's stitched all the way around the edge, which as most of my pockets are, stitched all the way around the edges. Lots of sewing in this one. And it includes this little folio that says Friday 6th. Inside there's 2 little tablets, one on each side. And this is a bridge card, as you can see, a bridge tally card. And on the back is a little pocket. In the pocket is a little advertisement. Poems wanted for musical setting and recording, and poems wanted for musical setting, free examination. Nashville, Tennessee. This has a little tablet with it as well. And this can just tuck right down into that pocket. You can hang over a little bit if you like. And this goes into this back cover pocket. And that is the journal called Posies and Poems, or Poems and Posies. I hope you've enjoyed the walkthrough. I know I really had a good time making this journal, and it's in my style that I love the most, kind of the French or Victorian, if you will. Very dainty, very feminine, and I hope you loved it. Hope you were inspired to maybe make your own journal, or if you'd like to purchase this one, it'll be available in the Etsy shop. That's www.we're just2sisters.etsy.com, and that's We're Just Two Sisters with the number 2.etsy.com. And you should check out our Etsy store often because we're always adding something new, my sister and I, and variations of different things from journals to ephemera to journal accessories. There's just always something fun to see in our Etsy shop. So come and check it out, and don't be a stranger. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.